you? All right. This is going to be our last chapter book we are going to read for the school year. Do you guys remember Knights of the Kitchen Table and how awesome that book was? Well, this is part of that same series, the Time Warp Trio. And this is a story called Your Mother Was a Neanderthal. And it's going to take place back in the caveman times. Okay? All right. I'm super excited. Okay. Do you guys remember how funny they are? There's the three boys. And they're missing something, aren't they? Chapter 1. It was like nothing on earth we had ever seen before. Fred, Sam, and I stood in front of a forest of strange trees and giant ferns. A rocky cliff rose behind us, and a volcano smoked ahead of us. But we didn't really notice any of that at first. The first things we noticed was that the three of us were standing around completely, unbelievably, and absolutely naked. We lost everything, yelled Fred. He dove behind the nearest giant fern. I don't understand it, said Sam. This never happens in those other time travel books. So why does this always happen to us, said Fred. This is totally embarrassing. We didn't lose everything, I said. Sam still has his glasses, you've still got your hat, and I still have my straw. That's all you have? A straw? Asked Fred. Don't tell me you lost the book. Okay, I won't tell you, I said. Oh, you don't even have the book? Oh, man, said Fred. This time we are really cooked, and I knew it wouldn't work. There was no way we were going to find the book here in the Stone Ages. We'll be lucky if we find anyone who can even talk. Sam looked around. So, okay, things don't look so good. Don't look so good, said Fred. We have to wait 1,000,000 years for people to invent talking, writing, and bookmaking, and all you can say is things don't look good? According to my calculations, said Sam, we've probably landed in early 400,000 BC. We are completely naked. We have no tools, weapons, or supplies, but we still have one thing. Goosebumps, said Fred. No, you jerk. Knowledge, brain power, all the learnings of a modern man, said Sam. He pointed dramatically towards the smoking volcano. Out there in this prehistoric world, we still will be kings, or at least very popular guys. Fred and I looked over the grassy plain. Right now, I would settle for some underwear and a slice of pizza, said Fred. Sam pretended he didn't hear that last crack. With our superior brain power, we can create modern civilization. Observe. He pulled a giant leaf from a bush. Pants! He held up a piece of vine. Belt! He tied the leaf on. Clothes! Fred and I did the same. We looked pretty ridiculous, but it was the start of civilization. Fred hopped around in his new leaf shorts. Ugh, now we learn reading and writing. Let's skip arithmetic. A strangled screech echoed in the forest, and I checked the landscape nervously. What about running and hiding? It sure would spoil my day to be eaten by a dinosaur. No, said Sam. Brain power. Dinosaurs and cavemen never lived at the same time. Sam adjusted his leaf. If it is 40,000 BC, dinosaurs have been extinct for 65 million years. Man, our distinct relative, should be replaced by the Neanderthal man. Sam paused, and at that very second, we heard a terrified human scream. Ah! Man, said Sam. Then we heard another sound. It was a roar, a very loud roar, the kind that comes from a very large, very angry, and very hungry animal. I think it's time for our disappearing act, I said. You can't do that without the book, asked Sam. Sure, I said, as I dived behind the nearest fern. Fred and Sam followed just as a bunch of wild-looking men crashed out of the bushes. They wore raggedy skins and had long, scraggly hair and beards and were running as fast as they could. "Cavemen," whispered Fred. The tops of the bushes shook, and the animal that was chasing them stuck out his head. "Dinosaur," whispered Fred. "Impossible," said Fred. "Dinosaurs are supposed to be extinct." The big scaly head turned its beady eyes towards us and roared. We backed against the rock wall. "Why don't you explain that to him?" I said. "Then maybe he'll go away if he's supposed to be extinct." The dinosaur looked at us and roared again. We went to the Stone Ages to become kings, and we were about to become lunch. Chapter 2. Oh, let me show you the dinosaur. But I'm getting way ahead of myself, or really about 42,000 years behind. Oh, let me explain. My best friends Sam and Fred were hanging around at my house after school as usual. We were trying to finish some annoying math homework, very usual. If it hadn't been pouring rain, we would have been long gone. "I got a great idea," said Sam. "I don't need any great idea," said Fred. "I need the answer to problem 14. If Mr. Sleepy walks at an average speed of 2.5 miles per hour, how many miles does he walk in 4 hours? 2.5 miles per hour times 4 hours equals 10 miles, said Sam. "You see, our problem is we've been going about this time travel business all wrong. We haven't been using our brains." I looked up. "What do you mean?" "Well, I've been doing a little research, reading time travel books. Half Magic, Narnia stuff, A Wrinkle in Time, A Time Machine. Hey, I think I saw that movie," said Fred. "And you know what those people in those books always forget?" "Food," said Fred. "They never eat in those books." "No," said Sam. "They never pack or bring anything useful to take with them. Like King Arthur would have been amazed by a calculator. The Cheyenne would have been wowed by my Walkman." This is kind of an old book. A Walkman is like an iPad, or like a play music, like an iPod. "And Blackbeard the pirate would have loved an F-16 airplane," said Fred. Sam frowned. "I'm serious, you guys. If we just take the right ordinary stuff, people will be convinced we're magic." I put down my pencil. "But I just learned this great trick," I said. "Watch me roll this straw across my desk using my invisible powers in one finger. I won't touch it. Watch. Hocus pocus, straw move ocus." The straw rolled across my desk with my finger just behind it. "That's very magical, Fred. Especially the way you blow the straw so it's rolling." "Oh, you weren't supposed to see that part," I said. "I told you, watch my finger." But one detail I haven't figured out," continued Sam, "is how to take the book with us so we can get home whenever we want to." "You call that a detail?" said Fred. "But I think the trick might have to do to just hang on to the book right when that green time-traveling mist starts to swirl around us." "It sounds almost too simple to be true," I said. "Sometimes the best ideas are simple," said Sam. "The ancient Greek mathematicians, Archimedes, discovered he could move the world with just a fulcrum, a long enough lever, and a place to stand." "Archimedes," said Fran. "Wasn't he a shortstop for the Cubs?" Sam frowned. Fred slapped him with his hat. "Just kidding, Mr. Brainpower. What in the world is fulcrum?" Sam flipped over his math homework and drew on the back. "The fulcrum is the piece of the lever rests on. You put the lever under a big object and over the fulcrum like this." trying to explain to you guys what he's talking about. Have you guys ever done this? And so if you want to move this, it falls down and it would launch this side. It's kind of like a teeter-totter, kind of. Pull down the object. Pull down the lever and the big object pops up. Fascinating, said Fred with a yawn. But let's get back to time traveling. Where do you guys want to go next? Ancient Egypt? Outer space? The future? Well, obviously, said Sam, adjusting his glasses. The farther back in time we go, the more impressive our things will be. Oh, obviously, said Fred. So, if we go back to the prehistoric times, we will be the most impressive. Oh, most impressive, said Fred. Actually, for once, you're actually making great sense, I said to Sam. I guess we're pretty stupid to not figure this out sooner. Speak for yourself, said Sam. Well, what are we waiting for? Said Fred. Let's go pack up and head for the Stone Ages. So, what are we going to take with us? I asked. Weapons, said Fred. Tools, said Sam. What about magic tricks? I asked. Weapons, said Fred a little louder. Tools, said Sam a little louder. Hold it, you guys, I said. Let's split up. Everybody takes whatever you think is best from your house. Sorry, coming. We'll meet back here in half an hour. What about your mom? Said Fred. I'm still in trouble for breaking her lamp. Don't worry, I said. She won't be home until 5, and it's only 4 o'clock. We'll take off for the Stone Ages at 4:30 and be back at, 4:30, said Sam, with plenty of time to finish the homework for Mr. Dexter and put everything back for your mom. We scattered. And 30 minutes later, we were standing in my room, loaded for time travel. Fred had a slingshot and a barbecue fork, a Swiss Army knife, a water pistol, a Walkman hung from his belt. His pockets were stuffed with tape, marble, and matches. Sam looked like a walking gadget store. Pens, can openers, potato peelers, scissors, thermometers, buckles, zippers, paper clips, safety pins, hammers, pliers, and a folding saw hung from every available belt loop and pocket. I wore my magician's top hat and filled my pockets with my magic rings, my wand, flash paper, coins, scarves, ropes, and juggling balls. And I held the book with both hands. I looked in the index for cavemen, but only found cave painting, page 123. The Time Warp Trio, prepare to meet your ancestors, I said, and I flipped the book open to page 123. There was a picture of a cave painting with a spiral of stairs, moons, handprints, and 3 stick figures. And right on cue, the green time-traveling mist swirled around our feet. Hang on to that book, said Sam. Sam, I have to hand it to you, said Fred. Most of the time you are an obnoxious know-it-all. The mist was rising to our necks. But for once in your life, you have come up with a great idea. The mist covered our heads, and we had gone back to before time. Did it work? They brought all that stuff. Remember, they were like a hat, a straw, and something, and his glasses or something like that. All right. There's that picture of all the things he wanted to bring to the prehistoric time. All right, I'm going to stop there, and we will read more later. Bye, guys.